your number one podcast for all New England Patriots coverage. You can find us on X and Instagram at Patriot Focus. Hope you enjoy the podcast.
Hello, everyone. I am Billy here, joined by Kevin. We have an interesting show today. We're going to be discussing the Bills and Patriots. Good game, I could say. We're going to be discussing that matchup. We're going to recap that a little bit. We're going to talk about the coaching situations, like the Gerard Mayo firing, who's going to get fired, if anyone does get fired. And we're going to talk about, I don't know, just latest headlines, and that should do it. So to start off, a good loss for the New England Patriots that might have kept Gerard Mayo's Patriots head coaching job in talks, I guess. It kept him, it brought him up a little bit. And the reason I say this is even at the end of the game, you could tell he's progressing. He's getting better as a head coach. At the end of the game, he just, you could hear him talk, and he wasn't saying much in his post game interview. So that's always good that's good because now, I don't know. He used to say way too much, which made the media think, I don't know, he just wasn't a good communicator. And he improved that. Drake May sounded pretty good on the press conference after the game, so that's always something great to hear too. AVP didn't have a bad game. And DeMarcus Covington, I wouldn't say had a terrible game last game. Comparing to other games, he played great, but I'm just worried about this coaching staff and what it's supposed to bring us. So Bills won 20. What was the final score? 21 to
24-21
27.
Bills.
24-21 Bills. All right.
That's what I thought.
Only 3 points. Yeah, I thought that too. I just didn't want to say the wrong thing. So only 3 points to one of the best teams in the conference. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that loss. What about you?
I'm okay with the first half of the game.
Yeah.
And to echo some of the things that I heard on the radio, I completely agree. I forget who had said it, but someone put it nicely, or I think fairly. The Patriots played the first half of the game the way we want them to play, and they played the second half of the game the way they've been playing the past 10 games.
Yeah,
the whole time I'm watching the first half of the game, and I'm thinking, and this is not me rooting against the Patriots. It's me being realistic. I'm waiting for the Bills to adjust because they're going to, and then I'm also thinking to myself, I don't think Covington's going to adjust to what they have. Like, I don't think he has the ability. They're just a better team, and I don't think it's his fault. And I kind of like about. We'll probably get into the coaching thing a little bit more deeply, but my initial thoughts are, you can't expect a first year coordinator to beat all these people with experience. You just can't. You have to start somewhere. What better place than to start with a team that's already on the bottom? We don't like it as Patriots fans because we're so used to having some of the best defensive play in the league. But it's been slowly going downhill, in terms of players for the past 5 years, and now we're at a point where we're not at the bottom, but we're close. We can smell it, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean,
so I can speak positively about the offense, but I think it's and we can get into that. But that's just my overall feeling. But I was waiting for the fact that Covington was not going to be able to answer, what the Bills were going to give him the second half, and unfortunately, I was right. The moment I think I paused the game and took a break when I forget which one it was. Was it the
Probably
Was it
the fumble.
It was the fumble that we didn't recover. That
That was
turnover, I
Ramondre,
was like,
yeah.
oh, and again, I get it. Cold football doesn't perform the same way, you know, but he's also a player that has a fumbling problem throughout all of his
Yeah.
career. He has an explosive run that he has once in a while. When you need it to, he scores touchdowns when you need him to. However, he also turns the ball over when you don't need him to. So, what can you live with one or the other? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that because I also don't know what's the alternative. The alternative could be a less talented running back that also turns the ball over. You don't know. And we're uncomfortable as fans being in this we don't know holding pattern for who knows how long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and like an alternative, I like Antonio Gibson. I think he's been playing pretty good in the past couple of games. Him and Austin Hooper, the two backups, I feel like have been proving that maybe not they're better than the starter, but they are proving that they're I don't know, they're just doing good. So if we can involve Gibson in the running game, even in the passing game, he's been doing pretty good in the passing game too. If we involve him a little more, maybe maybe Ramondre is just good as a back or like a backup, or maybe we part
I
ways
mean,
with him, get someone in the
well,
draft.
maybe he gets, I don't know what percentage of the snaps he's taking now, but maybe you just start to shift a piece of his snaps over to
Yeah,
Gibson, right? I mean,
yeah,
I
give him
think that, right? But the other
mhm.
thing is like, okay, Gibson is a good football player. All right, we started off the game. Was it the did he take a kickoff or a punt to like the
When
40 or
this
40
game,
40?
this game,
Yeah, yeah, he returned.
um,
Did he return
it was a
the
kickoff. The
kickoff
kickoff.
was to like the 41 or something like that,
Yeah,
wasn't
he
it?
had a good return. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
mean
the opening return, I think.
that's a good player. You get the
Yeah,
ball to 40, that's how you win games. Like I'm not going to be all Bill Belichick and everything, but like come on. How do you win
yeah,
games? You control the line of scrimmage. You don't turn the ball over. You have good
yep,
field position and you play those things. Well, okay, you score points and you keep the other team from scoring points. You can win games and Super Bowls and all that. And the
yeah.
Patriots don't do those things consistently anymore.
hmm
So, but when
I
it
mean,
does happen, you got to look at those players and go, yeah, Gibson's a guy. And I saw that in Gibson, when he was with the Commanders, and I was like, this
yeah,
I'm very glad that he's on the team because you need the chance to see that stuff, you know.
yeah, and I'd say Drake May had a good game. If we had any other quarterback in there, versus the Bills, I don't think it would have been as close as it was. Most of that credit goes to Drake May, along with Kayshon Boutte. I think he played a great game. Him and May really connected. And if I were to give someone a player of the game, it'd probably be him for offense anyway, because he made the big plays, and that's kind of what, along with the little plays and all that, the big plays kind of keep you in there, I guess. And um, great throw on that 24-yard touchdown to Booty, and great catch too. But May did play a great game. Um, him and He just connected with everyone. I feel like Bourne got, I think, like 3 receptions, which is pretty good for him. And yeah, so couple things that maybe we can work on with getting the ball out a little quicker, but he's doing his best with the O lineman that he has, um and yeah, you can't forget it's a cold game. He's from UNC. He's not really used to all this cold. And he said like the coldest game I've ever played in was 20 degrees in high school. So now now we're going into the NFL, faster guys. So I think he played a great game. The defensive side of the ball, you know, missed tackles, which is always a problem. That's something that our defense has struggled with all year. I think Kyle Duggar being the main culprit of missing tackles. So he is
But
also still not fully recovered with his injury, which is one thing that we might want to consider. But these missed tackles gotta you gotta reel them in because
and let's think about that. Let's see, the Duggar. You brought up a couple points. I thought that the 24-yard catch touchdown. I thought that was a 28. I think it's even.
I thought
Maybe
it
it
was
was.
26.
No,
I just
you split the difference, huh?
it's 24 or 26, so
Yeah.
split the difference.
Looking at my notes, I think it was 28-yard.
28. All right.
The but the Duggar, I thought, played better than he's played since the beginning of the season.
Yes, definitely. He
And there was
played a great game. Yes, I agree.
he was making tackles. He was like on the ball. And some things that like I like to look out for. He was not in the right place. When he first came back? What, 2 games ago, or was it 3 games? 2 games ago?
3 games ago, he was missing
Oh no,
tackles, but
he didn't. But he
he
didn't.
got much better.
It's like he didn't even know where to be this time.
Yeah.
Not only did he know where to be, he made plays as you know. Well, there was that one scramble that Josh Allen had where he took off. And the one that Keon White ended up tackling him.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
don't think Keon White gets to him if Duggar doesn't apply that pressure. So I
Yeah.
mean, Duggar shuts down a lane, and here comes Keon White. He can run well enough. He's athletic enough. And he gets him. That's there's a lot to be said for those types of plays. Those are that's where a defense is playing together. Like that's the defense that you want. Okay. So yeah, I thought in a lot of ways Duggar is honest. He was back to himself in that game. But
Yeah.
yeah, and all that. There was times when the O line did pretty well. There was a few run plays that were facilitated by the O line. You could tell at that right side. Who's the right guard? Sorry, obviously it's on Wenu, but who's the right tackle?
Oh my God, it's
It's
I hate
the
him,
one
Demontre
who's
Jacobs.
Okay,
Demontre
Jacobs. Yeah,
Jacobs. Oh
you're
my
right.
God,
So, but
terrible.
he's is he a rookie?
No, he's
No,
terrible.
no. Okay, so but they're at least playing together. Maybe it was Big Mike. I don't know, but they opened up some gaps. But it just seemed like I was happy for them the first quarter especially, and I was like, okay, can they stack some quarters? And then even by the half, I was like, they're still in this. But about halfway through the third quarter, I'm like, they're losing it. You could tell they're not. The Bills are adjusting more than the Patriots are making adjustments, and that's what I don't know. Is that coaching? Is that they just don't have the talent? Is it that the coaches don't have the talent to do anything different on the field? We don't know
I
any
think
of
it's
that.
all three.
It's probably all.
Because Mayo's known as the players' coach, the guy that the players love. So how much do you think Mayo critiqued them in that locker room in the half? I bet. I mean, I love Mayo as a coach, but I don't think he was all over them like Bill Belichick would have been. Obviously, very different coaches, but I don't think Mayo helped it in the halftime in the locker room. I mean, we don't know. Maybe he did, but I don't think he's that kind of guy to critique when we're up that much.
They got visibly colder and colder throughout the game, but into the fourth quarter especially. You look at some you compare first quarter to fourth quarter in terms of like just the way Drake May looked. He looked cold. He looked
Yeah.
cold, like he doesn't and it was on their faces, like they're fighting, but they weren't fighting to win. They were fighting to survive. And I don't, perhaps I'm not going to go out there and say that they wanted the game to be over or anything like that, but It just
They
didn't look
probably
like
did.
it just didn't look like a bunch of football players that had confidence that like their bodies were going to respond the way they needed to win. They didn't
Yeah.
look like they were, good enough to overcome the weather conditions, or experienced enough. Maybe this is just Drake May and experience.
Yeah.
I think if they were playing the Jets, in the same cold conditions,
Could have broke 30.
they would have definitely won the game. I think the
Yeah.
Bills are a good team, and they're a good team because they're playing well together. And I remember seeing them play last year, and just could not wait for them to let go of Diggs. I was so done with him. And not that this is not me being a Bills fan right now. I'm being a football fan. But watching them and finally seeing Gabe Davis gone and Diggs gone, I'm like, all right, now they'll be able to play as a good team because playing as a team is so important, especially when you have enough talent and someone like Josh Allen to move the needle when you need to. I think Drake May is that kind of talent. So as a
Yeah.
Patriots, I'm very excited, and I don't care who they let go of, and I don't care who they bring in,
The
because
Bills.
they're going to bring in the Patriots. Are going to bring in the best players they can for those positions. They are,
I hope
and if
so.
they don't, who's ever bringing them in needs to go. You
Elliott.
know, if we're gonna get to that, but like they're
We'll get
gonna
to that later.
yeah, but you know what I mean. It's a tough game to watch because just knowing that you have to wait perhaps a season or two before you really start to go, this is the Patriots that I miss. But I think that they have the best chance with Drake May, and it was exciting to see the game start that way, and to see them, even though it was kind of near garbage time at the end. It was nice to see them continue to fight. What do you
Yeah.
think of what about Pop Douglas? Past few games, he hasn't been.
Yeah, he was a little quiet. But I feel like that all goes right back to AVP and how he's utilizing his players. So I'm okay with Booty getting the getting the targets and all that, but I would like to utilize him a little more. Um, so and yeah, I liked him. I wish he was played a little more. Um,
Hold on. Do you think he's getting fewer targets because Hooper and Henry and Gibson and Stevenson they're just being used in the game plan more and differently, and it seems to be the best way they can um, work against some of these defenses.
I don't know. I could it could be like it could just be the way where like yeah he might want to be using other guys knowing that they're eliminated from the playoffs and they're playing for nothing. So at this point they kind of want to figure out who they want to keep, who they want and at this point they're playing for next season. So um maybe trying to figure out who does what next season and what their paths bring them to. But I really don't know. So maybe that just means he's locked for next season, or maybe it means that he's not and he's out.
What do you think about like the design run stuff? Because we saw at least two in there. One
Yeah,
wasn't. One wouldn't was technically a design run, but there might have been like a penalty or something like that. So technically,
the design run.
yeah, there
What do you
was.
mean?
Well, there was a couple of design, meaning most of the majority, vast majority of Drake's yards on the ground
Oh,
are from scrambles and extending
yeah,
play, and it just turns into him. But I mean a designed run where like the goal, the play was some play action, some window dress, whatever it is, and then he's taken off through a gap or through a lane.
yeah. I
I mean,
mean, he's mentioned it a couple times. He's 6'5", 220 or whatever it is, and you got they're not using that enough. And you're a football player, you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hit, and that's what it is. But I mean, he's 6'5". He's one of those quarterbacks that you want to send out and let him run. And 4th and 1, you use a QB sneak because Ben Brown's a big guy. It's not like he's nothing. And when we get to that center position after this, um, like he he's big, so you gotta utilize that a little bit more. And he hasn't shown that he loses the football when he runs too, or he hasn't. He's gotten hurt once. It was a concussion from him sliding, so getting hit. So I'm not. I wish AVP utilized his height and size a little bit more. Maybe we'll see that more next season, when he's not a rookie and when he's not when they're not all careful with him. But when I go to the center position, Cole Strange, your guy, was activated before the game, actually like a week before the game. So I'm wondering why he didn't play. Maybe he was still a little hurt, but he was listed as active. So if he was hurt, he probably would have been listed as out. So maybe that's something with AVP. Maybe that's something with Mayo. Maybe that's just something with him that he doesn't want to play yet, or he can't play yet. But it was kind of concerning that they didn't put him in because Ben Brown he missed a couple snaps last week and this week a little bit, low snaps and stuff. And it's not like he's doing bad, but even if you put Cole Strange at left guard, I know he's been practicing at center a lot, but put him at left guard, and have Strange, Brown, and Onwenu guard and center. That'd be great. Um, if you list off the names, I don't know how they play together, but I know Cole Strange has some experience at left guard, so maybe that's something you might want to think about, even though you put your mind to center. But I don't know. I wonder why I didn't play. What do you
Yeah.
think?
It really, I would take any of these scenarios. It could really just be that they don't want to just change up the line because they've been working together. Because let's face it, you don't need the 5 best linemen in the league to have the best line. You need 5 guys that can work together,
That's
right?
true.
And once you start moving them around too much, is it really worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze when you have a few games left in the season, and you're going to bring in Cole Strange, who is as cold to the game as anyone who hasn't played in more than a year? I think that's a maybe. I'd like to see Cole Strange in some preseason games. Is where I'm thinking. I mean, I think Cole Strange could be a good lineman, whether guard or center. I'm hoping center, but you don't take someone out like Ben Brown who's working, and we also don't know what's going on in practice.
That's true.
Really, if you're a decision maker, you see these guys perform in practice, and you go, well, you got to go with the best players you saw that week. And we don't
Yeah,
get to see all that. So there's a lot that we don't know. So you just gotta have to trust it. But it could be just that they don't want to break up that line if they didn't need to. I mean, there was fewer line penalties this week by a
yeah,
lot.
definitely. Demontre Jacobs had only one holding, so or that I counted. I He probably had more because it's Demontre Jacobs, but like maybe it's also because they know that they're out of the season and he's still hurt. Why make him? Why? Why risk another injury if it's not going to do you any good? If you win, if you lose, you're still out. Just gives you a worse draft pick. And Mayo, there's rumors that Mayo and Kraft have agreed that he'll be here next year. So maybe he's not playing for his job. Maybe he's just playing for the team right now.
Who
Because
wait, which one?
Mayo,
Yeah.
Kraft. I guess what I heard was Kraft told Mayo that he'll be here next year. But I mean, maybe that's a good time to go to coaching. And talk about this whole situation that we don't even know what's happening. Um, Thoughts on Mike Vrabel coming into the New England Patriots?
Um, that's a good question. Uh, it it would be. Do I think Mike Vrabel would be a better coach than Mayo?
Yeah, that's a question.
At least from where we're sitting, probably. Um, the problem with that is they're very different. You know, you know,
One offensive
Vrabel.
coach, one defensive coach.
They're both defensive coaches.
Vrabel,
Yeah,
defensive.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. He's a He was a defensive player. He's right.
that's true.
So I would think he'd be more of a defensive mind. I mean, he
Didn't he
does
play with
have
tight end at one point?
well, yeah, like 10 times, and it was all
Oh,
like no, it was probably more than 10 times, but I think he has like uh, it was mostly just they'd stick him in there for certain packages in the red zone, and he caught a touchdown like almost every time, if I remember.
yeah.
Like
I feel like I've seen him at tight end once, and I always thought he was a tight end.
well, he's cut. I think he has like 10. You know, um, I think he has like 10. Yeah, his
Touchdowns.
so 14 seasons for the Patriots, Steelers, and Chiefs, right? The Patriots got him from the Steelers. I think the Steelers drafted him, if I remember correctly. That was a long time ago. I haven't thought about this in a while. He's got 485 solo tackles, 221 assists, 57 sacks, 9 fumble recoveries, and 11 interceptions. So I would say he was a linebacker, you know.
Yeah,
So
I knew he was a linebacker at one point. I didn't know, and I also knew he played tight end.
yeah,
I didn't know he was actually a linebacker, like fully.
yeah, and the tight end stuff. I'm trying to look up how many. Yeah, the touchdowns. Well, he's got 1 touchdown in 2005. Yeah, I thought that but that might just be as a defense. Oh, that's just defense. Okay, so receiving, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. He's got like 10. I was gonna say 10. You know, I should just trust myself,
You
right?
said it. You said
He's
it.
got, he's got. Oh, he did. I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 10 touchdowns in his career.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's a most he's just gadget situations. You know, Mike
Yeah.
Vrabel's a football player. You know, like I look at Marcus Jones. He's a football player. You can, he's good in all phases of the game. Someone else, KB to me is a good football player. He does his job. He's not super flashy, and very few people are going to be buying his jersey and all that, but like you need a guy like that on the team. You need people like that. Vrabel was good, but I mean at the same time as a player, Mayo was good too. They're both
Yeah.
really good players. Uh, Mike Vrabel though, I think Mike Vrabel's different. I think he's not that Mayo's not smart. I think Mayo's very smart. I think that Mike Vrabel's maybe smarter when it comes to like saying the right thing. Like I think he's the guy that always knows what to say. That's just been my experience. Seeing him whether it's a press conference or whatever, as a player or a coach, he just always seems to know what to say, and he says tough stuff, and he can
Who,
back it up.
Mayo or
No,
Vrabel?
yeah, and he can back it up.
Yeah.
So he's got the big ego, but at the same time, like players like him. The locker room likes him. So I think they're different. I think Mayo to me comes off more as like someone who connects with people more on an emotional level. I think he can feel the feelings in the room, whereas Mike Vrabel is going to set the tone and make those feelings in the room. You know.
Yeah.
And who makes a better football coach? I don't know.
We don't
For
know.
next
We don't
year,
know
I don't.
enough about Mayo.
They're not gonna make any changes for next year in terms of head coach. If they do make a change in terms of coaching, what do you think it would be?
Covington out. I mean, I don't see how he can't be out. Like this is a defense that, this is a defense that was supposed to be the the guys that are keeping us in this season and that are keeping us with a somewhat sustainable record, and now they're making us much worse. They're almost the worst defense in the league. They have great players too. It's just it's not being utilized, and there's only one guy to blame there is the defensive coordinator and the play caller. And maybe you can blame a little bit on Mayo, maybe you can blame a little bit on injuries, but it all starts with coaching, like Mayo said. And Covington's, I I just don't think he should be here anymore. It's not a right fit for him. Secondly, I'm going AVP. He's out. Um, Maybe give him another year, but he started off bad. He made up for it last game, like Bill's game, and then like the game before that though, you could tell he's just not an offensive coordinator. Maybe you can put him on the defense, switch Covington and AVP. Maybe that'll no. But keep Mayo. We got to keep Mayo. If I'm Kraft, I'm keeping Mayo for at least another year because he's a rookie head coach, and I love to compare him to Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is 3-11-1 on his 3-12-1, 3-13-1. I don't know. He had 3 wins though. So
His first year coaching.
yeah, first year coaching, he had 3 or 4 wins, and that's probably what Mayo's gonna get. So now you look at Dan Campbell. Now he's almost gonna get Coach of the Year. So even Bill Belichick, his first season 6-11, not too good. First year with the Patriots, it was like 4. It was like 4-13, I think I saw. So give Mayo a chance for one more year. He's dealing with a rookie quarterback, and a brand new coaching staff. So I'd give him a chance, and I'm against Rabel coming because at least for this year, like I'd rather Mayo than Vrabel. He has more Vrabel or Mayo has more experience with this team. Maybe Vrabel has more experience with the organization, but Mayo has more experience with this team. And
And as
well,
a
if
head coach,
Vrabel,
like Vrabel has a lot more experience as a head coach, and
yeah, he does, but
also took the Titans to the NFC Championship, right?
AFC, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, that's
you look at that, that team is really good though. Like Marcus Mariota, Delaney Walker, who else on that team? That was prime Corey Davis, Derrick Henry, but that doesn't mean his coaching wasn't good because that's good coaching. But I think Mayo can do that too. So maybe Mayo isn't a good speaker. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just a player's coach. But I'd give him another chance, and maybe he can show us a thing or two next year. A
was
winning
it
record, maybe.
was it 2 podcasts ago or whatever that I said you were all fire Mayo, and I said
I said that.
look up what they said about Dan Campbell. His
Yeah,
first year. It just really echoes a lot of that same stuff. He's just so different. They're both like players, coaches. They speak
both
their mind.
linebackers too, right?
Yeah. So like you know, I think was yeah. So basically, I don't know. Pretty sure Dan Campbell wasn't the. I don't have his player stats right here. I only see his coaching stats.
He was either a tight end or a linebacker.
That's what you're going with for everything tonight. Huh?
Yeah. I need to know. It was something. It was one of those. But
Yeah. So
I
I'm
mean,
with
he
you
has
too.
a tight end build.
I'm with you too. Like get rid of Covington. If they stick with Covington, he's gonna show that they can make adjustments for the second half. And if he can't show that in like the first 6 games, get rid of him right away. Because
I'm
you're better off getting someone else in there and seeing if they can make it happen, instead of going into the off season not knowing if whoever you hire can make something happen for the team.
I'm against firing in the middle of the season. I I don't like that. Then you don't have training camp with the team. You don't have what do you call it? The April or the May drills, whatever. Um, but if we do decide to keep him, I mean, I might just have to be a Bills fan or a Jets fan or make an alternative here because he's a problem.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like some of my other thoughts the first half of the game. I was like, oh, did they have they been listening to the news and what people have been saying about the coaching? Did they actually like get up and go to work and work hard? Because I don't know. I think maybe some people, especially some fans, underestimate how hard it is to coach and how much you have to know about these teams. It's not a walk in the park. And Bill Belichick, the greatest to ever do it, did it with great coaches around him, and he did not do it well when he lost those coaches. So, like Mayo's not going to succeed if he's got people that can't, game
That's
plan
true. Yeah.
well enough for the Bills. Because if you can't get through the Bills, you can't get through anything at this point. They are the new standard,
Oh
right?
yeah.
The
Well,
Bills.
if you can't get to the Bills are higher than the standard. I'd say, right?
Well, for the division, I mean,
Oh yeah,
it used to
yeah,
be that you had to get through the Patriots. Well, now you got to get through the Bills. I think
yeah.
if you can get through the Bills, you'll be in good shape.
Now you
But
should get the Patriots, and if you don't, then you're in terrible shape.
so
Um, but I mean, maybe all we need is that one player. Maybe that's Travis Hunter, for Colorado. Maybe it's who knows. I mean, I started draft stuff. Have you done anything with the draft yet or no?
no, I don't like to do that until after the Super Bowl, because otherwise I got very little to look forward to. So, in terms of football. But
Yeah.
at this point, I start to think, who do you keep? Uh, who do you, in terms of the players on the roster, who are you willing to let go of? And one guy that I was thinking wasn't sure about this season was like Marty Mapu. But this past game,
I
and
want to talk about him.
yeah, like
He was inactive for 2 games. That was coach's decision, so I don't know why. I was hoping that we weren't just gonna release him, like, out of the blue, because that would have been bad. Um, I'm glad we didn't do that. I wish he wasn't inactive for those 2 weeks. I mean, it's
he's
not like we
only a
would have won the game, but, like,
he's a second year.
he's a second year, yeah.
He came in with like that City So Keon White draft.
Yes. No. No, no, no. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Gonzo.
I think it was, yeah. Well, no,
Yeah,
well, yeah. I think it was 2023. Because I remember,
2023.
yeah, I think so. Uh, he just, I just have had a feeling about him.
Yeah.
And we've been needing some better, linebacker play. Um, but he had a better game. Uh, yesterday, was it last night? What is it, Monday? That was, yeah, last night. Than,
Yesterday, yeah.
than I've seen in a while, and that could be because I wasn't paying attention before, but it just seemed like he made
No,
plays
yeah,
that
he had a good game with the pick too. I don't know why we had to go the extra yard. Um, I didn't see the fake punt. I didn't watch it. I missed it, and I saw it after. And whew, I mean,
here. Let's
it
take
cons-
let's
it
talk about
concerns
that.
me that. Oh, you
Let
got it.
hold on. Let's you just mentioned like there's like he intercepted the ball in the end zone, right?
Yeah.
Mapu, and he probably thought he had a lane, had
Well,
someone.
he did, but from behind he didn't. He didn't know that, I don't think.
Yeah, and so and in that moment, I was like, ooh, it was too late. Like he was trying to get back
He
in the
knew
end,
it.
but like that's just I think a lot of that is just that's how you learn that, and
Yeah.
anyone who knows about running anything about running a business knows that like your employees, their training, like on the job stuff is important. And in the NFL, your on the job playing is going to happen in situations like that. Do you think he's going to make that mistake again? Probably not. But
I hope not.
uh, probably not. If he does, okay, well then maybe you're not the guy. But if you look at some of these guys that are year two, or even some of the rookies, but a lot of these year two defensive players, they can they don't make the same mistakes too much. Like they showed progress. I think while we're on defense, I just not to jump around too much, but one more thing that didn't really happen in the game, and maybe it's just because Cook's so good, but they did not stop the run, and if they could have, they would have won the game. Like it was
Yeah.
turnover, sure. But really, if you just took out one thing, the Patriots would have won. If you just took out like,
The
uh, you
screen
know,
pass
yeah, so
and stupid plays. That's just that's
but in
how
terms,
that's our team. That's
but but what I'm saying is the offense made enough good plays that if the defense could have stopped the run, it would have been a different story.
yeah,
But
and
you know,
that goes back to missed tackles and all that. But we've known that. We've known that that's what we do.
you
And
know, Barmore's not healthy, and Barmore's one of the
yeah,
best defensive players in the league in terms of talent. I think he's a great football player. He's just not healthy right now. This season, he's not healthy. And it's no fault of his own. Blood clots. That sort of thing happens, especially someone that young.
and big.
Yeah. So like, if he can get healthy and get back on track and be the player that he is, it's gonna be a different situation.
Jacqueline Roy too.
Yeah, and he had flashes. I don't think he's the talent that Barmore is. I think
I think
Barmore's
I think Roy is good. We just didn't see enough of him.
okay.
He's like
And
24 too. He's young.
yeah,
I
but
like him.
isn't Barmore also 24?
Barmore is 24 or 25. Yeah, he's young
But
too.
but he's a talented player,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and we did not have him this year, which is a problem. They made adjustments, but there's only so much you can do when you don't have one of your easily your second best defensive player on the roster. Is there,
Bentley's good.
yeah, but I
We're
would
also
still
he was also out for the season. We missed Bentley. We missed Uche. I don't know if you want to call him a miss or whatever
I don't know,
he is.
we could let him go and be fine.
Yeah.
Because sometimes guy is taking up a roster spot. Someone like Barmore is a great. I think he could be a great football player. He just isn't healthy. That's different than someone who is unhealthy and was kind of like hit or miss.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't.
and
It was good sometimes, but not enough to be like, oh, we got this guy we can't let go of. No, you can make space in the roster for someone else to step up and play.
yeah.
You
What are your
know,
thoughts on T. Higgins?
I think that I hope that he would want to come to the Patriots. I think the Patriots should pay him, and give someone give the roster someone that the other team has to game plan for. Like they have to game plan for Drake May, and that only goes so far. But they do. He's that good. Well, we need someone else. We need like two other players that need to be that they need to game plan for. And T. Higgins could be a guy. You know,
I don't want him.
no,
He doesn't have the he's a good backup receiver. Like he could be like a deep threat if he wants. Like he has okay hands. He doesn't have speed. He
I
wins
think
most contested catches, but um his separation rate is very low. So, and that's one of New England's problems is our separation rate with our receivers. We're not separating. So I don't know how much I want him. I'd rather Travis Hunter from the draft. We'll see what he plays if we do get him. We did move down to the second draft pick, so maybe that's our time to trade down and go to pick like 6 or something. Whoever owns that, I think it's the Jaguars who have that right now. But if we go to like pick 6, maybe we can still get Hunter. There's this guy, Luther Burden. He's fast, and Emeka Egbuka, who's also fast for Ohio State. So I'd like to see us get a quick receiver from the draft. Someone like Pop Douglas, but a little of a bigger name, I guess. And yeah, so as long as we don't get a Jalen Polk, a N'Keal Harry, one of those guys that think they're good, terrible, but maybe Polk can have a good year next year. And maybe he can recover. I don't know how he can recover from this, but just try to do it. Like we need if he did, that'd be very nice.
Yeah, T. Higgins got 727 yards in 10 games, right?
Yeah.
Do we have wouldn't he be the best receiver on the Patriots if he was on the roster?
Probably,
Yeah,
but
and
I've never
how
been a fan of him.
no, okay.
No. So like maybe we can change that, but I mean, I have a better chance of liking him than AVP, but I don't know. I've just never been a fan of T. Higgins. I haven't thought he was all that good, but he is. So, um,
He is good. I mean, he's a thousand yard receiver, for sure. If he plays enough games. Now he doesn't
yeah,
always play every game. He's not available for every single game every season, which could be a
yeah,
problem. But still, when you put a player like that, he might be the best, most available uh, receiver. And when you put someone like that on the roster, now what does that mean for Booty? What does that mean for different things you can do with Pop Douglas? Now that you have some guys that are getting out there, they're spreading the field. You got 2 guys that can spread the field, right? And different things you can do in the middle of the field with the tight ends, with Pop Douglas, with who's another with KB. There's something to be said at that point. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pay for a good receiver this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. That might be let's see what the 2026 draft looks like. But I don't know if I want to even play that game. You don't want to go into like year 4 of Drake's contract and be like, well, you never really got him a receiver that'll catch the ball consistently.
yeah.
You
Then
don't
you're
want
making up excuses for, or not
to. Yeah.
excuses, but like, yeah, you're making up. Yeah,
So
we can't do that.
that's
And
why I
I
still
think,
think that grab the best guy you can in free agency. I don't even care what his name is. Like get the best guy that'll give you the best chance to catch the ball, and because Drake can put it right where it belongs.
we
Like
saw it yesterday.
he's proved it, but he's proved it in every game.
Yeah, he's proved it in every game. So
Yeah, you can't even any of these people that even start talking like, oh well, Mac Jones this. Oh, don't even like just look at them move in the pocket. Drake is special.
yeah,
And I wonder too if also I wonder what um, Drake thinks of the quarterback room in general in terms of the coaching. I wonder if he has a good relationship with AVP, um, or if Jake's progress is just because Drake is that good, and he could have done that with anybody. You
yeah,
know, we what I mean, not to throw this out there, but like, what if would we be so critical of like Matt Patricia in what 2022 as an offensive coordinator if Drake May was, under center. Now, it might be it's very counterfactual. We can't go back in time and change all that, but I think Drake's that kind of player.
Yeah.
I think he's the kind of player that makes coaches look good. So, you know, I mean, we're not going to get Kevin O'Connell. Ideally, you go get you get Kevin, you get an actual quarterback head coach that knows what he's doing and plays well from the but we're not going to get that.
Yeah, and what I
'Cause
feel like our best chances of getting that is Gerard Mayo, because if we had other chances of getting that, someone else would have already gotten it already. So that's why I'm saying to stick with Mayo. He's never been fired before, so I bet every other coach that's out there has been fired before. So give Mayo another chance. Maybe get Vrabel into offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Yeah, defensive coordinator. If he wants to do that. So right now he's a linebackers coach in Cleveland, I think.
but he's
So
he's more of a consultant though, I think.
is he?
Yeah, which he probably is a linebackers coach, but I think I
He'd have
think
more of a role here and as a defensive coordinator though.
but
And
he might go to Ohio State, which I think isn't he from Ohio?
probably. I'm
So,
not sure.
there's a lot of things that he could do. The Bears need a head coach. I think the Vrabel train's going to get snatched up, and unless something crazy happens in both his world and the Patriots' world, it's probably not going to mix. It's not,
Yeah.
the paths probably aren't going to cross. Um, there was a talk of having him come on with the Patriots as like a football czar, as someone that just oversees everything, that he has the final say, so that ownership doesn't have that sort of decision.
I don't like that. Then I can't blame one guy. Actually, yes, I can blame one guy. So I like that.
Yeah, you would, and some people think that he is the kind of guy that could manage that pretty well. So would it be that sort of situation? I think that would be the only one that could work if Mayo's still coaching. But yeah, the thing I was thinking was just earlier, just about Drake. I think he's that talented that he might have made the developmental strides that he made under almost any coach. I say almost
Yeah.
any coach because there are certain situations that would have been toxic. I mean, look at the Jets. Look at
Yeah.
anything that Aaron Rodgers has touched in the past several years. It's hasn't really been working.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this I have a lot of hope that they give him what he needs and that they also really fix the defense situation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am on all that stuff. And if it means, I would even trust if Mayo was like, no, let's keep Covington, and Covington's going the right direction. Okay, but if we're talking about this the same way next December,
No. Yeah. And I hope we're not, because I hope he's out by that point. Because I don't know. I feel like at the defensive coordinator position, you're going to be able to find someone much better than a rookie that has to develop. Or not a rookie, but I don't know how long he's been doing this defensive coordinator job, but not as he hasn't. This is his first year for the Patriots anyway, but yeah, something's got to change, and no matter if he has one good game versus the Bills or another good game this year versus the Chargers or Bills again, he'll be lucky because based off what we saw earlier in the season, not even that earlier, just every game other than Buffalo, he hasn't been doing good. So if he does good week 17 versus Buffalo, then he's good versus Buffalo. Maybe maybe he can have a promotion when he's facing Buffalo, and he can go to the defensive coordinator spot. That's something that that Kraft's got to figure out. But we'll definitely know more about all this coaching stuff later in the season. Maybe that means 2 weeks. Maybe that means a month. We don't know. But I'm excited for week the final week of the season. Actually, a week after that. That's where all the cuts happen. That's where some cuts happen and some actual coaching changes happen. So maybe we can see some guys go out, and that'll have us a huge topic to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. If let's say there was 5 guys on the team, you wanted to keep.
I like this. All right.
All right. So
Like
which 5 guys would you keep?
5 guys that aren't guaranteed to keep, just like 5 guys. It's like Drake May hasn't won, right?
No. 5 guys you would keep. Like going into next season, 5 guys you have. Like I want to keep. I want must-haves.
All right. Antonio Gibson, Austin Hooper. I'm gonna go. I don't think Jelani Tavai won. I think he's already gonna stay. So I'm gonna go Hooper, Gibson. Let's do Marte Mapu. And that's 3. I'll do Pop Douglas. I don't know if that's a guarantee, so I'm just gonna do it. And one more, we'll do Jaquilin Roy.
Okay. So, and we're not talking like Drake May's an obvious. We're not talking
Drake May, Gonzo, like even Marcus Jones. He's an obvious. Like,
yeah.
What's yours?
I would add Keon White to your list.
I had it. He's a must keep. I think he's already here. He might not be. Yeah, he is. He's too early in his season in his career to get out of here, and I really don't want to play this footage back later in this offseason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's also a player like they have no he's still on a rookie deal, so there's
so there's no reason he should go. And
but
he hasn't showed why he should. So
yeah, and he's an area of need for them, so they wouldn't be letting him go, to get draft capital. But who knows? It's hard to really talk about all that stuff when you don't know what the deal is on the other end. If someone's offering a serious deal for him, that's different.
Give me a round 1 for him. I'll take it. A round 1 pick, whatever.
Yeah, but
I'll take it.
He wouldn't be round. He'd be what, like round, like 3rd round.
Yeah, 3rd round in like Josh. Yeah.
So I don't even think they'd even go that direction. But
no.
Yeah, I like your list, and I might even just trade out 1 or 2 players, and I kind of like Kayshon Boutte. He's shown a level up. Now, I might be eating my words in a year, but I feel like if he still continues to step it up next year, he's on this trajectory. He could make, he could be a solid 2 or 3 wide receiver, 2 or 3 on almost any team. But at the same time, he could also fall off the cliff and be, not even make a roster in 5 years. Who knows? He's one of those guys that, could be great or could just be a total flop.
Yeah, even I was thinking in my list the whole time, Sion Takitaki. I mean, he didn't get all his chances this year because he was hurt since week 6, I think it was, maybe week 5. But I know he was placed on IR at the beginning, so maybe we can give him another chance with a new defensive coordinator, a new staff, and give him. I'm planning next year for a new defensive coordinator. I'm not if that means I have to go to Gillette and tell Mayo what my thoughts are, I'm doing it because I can't do another year with no change of this whole staff. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you got to consider who would they get to replace him, which is probably a conversation for another podcast,
Definitely, yeah.
you know. But yeah,
Yeah,
we're pretty much on the same page on a lot of this stuff.
a lot of it, yeah. There's some things that we're not, but most of the things we are. So,
So I probably have a little bit more faith in AVP
oh
than
yeah, yeah, you do.
you do, but I think we're both on the same page. You know, if they, I could go either way. Like I said, I'll have to just trust the Covington thing if they bring him back. But if they fire him, I'm like, fine, whatever.
I'm like, yes, or like I knew this. Like I'm happy that this happened. You know.
Yeah. You know, as far as the need, we didn't talk about this much, but the need for a left tackle. You know, if you can get it in the draft, that's your best chance because teams don't let go of good tackles. They just don't. So you're more likely to get a good wide receiver in free agency and a good tackle in the draft. But the bottom line is the Patriots are in a pretty decent situation for this draft, in terms of who they pick because uh, they have a decent amount of picks, but they need everything. So they could literally just take the best player available and go with the best deal for them. If it's another team wants to offer them a really good deal to trade down or whatever, and they could still get a guy that's good for them, then they might go that direction. But they're in a they need everything. They have a quarterback,
Yeah,
but they need everything else.
and a corner. I think they're good on corner too.
They,
Gonzo and Marcus Jones.
yeah, I would see. I would
Get
still want
Jonathan out of there. I don't want Jonathan anymore. He's
Travis Hunter. Is he the one? He's
he's
probably
a corner slash receiver. I feel like he's almost he's gonna come to us. I think, and
if we get him, I think he should.
that'll be a fun podcast.
I think he's
to-
gonna. Well, I think he's gonna be better off as a cornerback. Not that he wouldn't play any games, any plays or any snaps as a receiver. Why wouldn't you? Of course you would. But like, just kind of like Marcus Jones is mostly a corner. I would do the same thing. Because John Jones isn't going to be able to keep up. He's at the end of his career. He's still playing good, but like not every team and not every matchup. So having someone like Travis Hunter
Travis Hunter, yeah,
and Gonza, like now you have a secondary.
yeah, yeah. That's a good duo. I have 3 questions. So Deion Sanders is Travis Hunter's coach. Deion Sanders was a dual position player in college. Was he also in the NFL? Did he play corner and receiver in the NFL too?
Yeah, was he a running back?
No, he was receiver and corner in college. I know he played a lot of corner in his time in the NFL. I didn't know if he played receiver too, but I don't know. It could be like a Marcus Jones sort of thing. But Deion Sanders,
I'm thinking of
Bo Jackson,
no, like not Deion Sanders, but I'm thinking of
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Deion Sanders.
Deion was a defensive back.
Did he also play?
But yeah, I don't know if he played.
Yes, he played receiver and corner in the NFL. But I mean, people are comparing Deion Sanders to Travis Hunter. They're saying like he's proving almost better than Sanders was in college, and Deion Sanders is Hunter's coach, his head coach. So that's one thing to take in consideration. 2 is about the Bills game. It's 2 things. That's the end of it. It's that pick to I forget what his name was. I think it was Davis or something. Cam Davis. I don't know. But I don't know if you watched that again, but that was Hooper's fault, I think, because he didn't run the right route. It looked like he didn't cut when he was supposed to, and that's why May. Because if he did, then May threw it in a perfect spot. So that just goes back to miscommunication, which has happened a couple times this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Hooper ran a fine route, and it was May that was under pressure, threw it, and made the wrong decision. But he was open for a minute, and Hooper kept going straight and kind of out, and that made the defensive back to take the inside and get that pick. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is Mayo did the fake punt on 4th and 1, and in the fourth quarter, in the middle of the fourth quarter, he didn't punt it, and we were at the 50-yard line. It was like 4th and 1, and we punted it. That was probably the worst call of the game, I think. And who knows if he didn't punt it, and we threw May in there for a quarterback sneak, we got it, scored, we could have won the game. But I mean, it goes back to play calling, coaching, and who makes the decisions. That's one thing that Mayo kind of messed up on. And when he fake punted it, I kind of thought, oh, this is like, we have a new Mayo, we have a new team. But then we went right back in the fourth quarter, and we're back to right where we started.
I agree, and I did want to bring that one up, that the 4th and 1, they really, really should have gone for it because of where they are in the game, where they are in the season.
What do you have to lose?
Why not go for it?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. But
so yeah.
That's about it for today. Anything you want to add on?
No. Yeah, I just in the next 2 games, I just want to see more of what they played in the first half of the game because I felt less anxiety as a fan. Last week I just lots of anxiety. The week before, just these games have been tough. The past few, but this one was different. I don't like I don't do the whole moral victory thing. This wasn't a win. They lost the game. But with better players and perhaps just a better coached team, maybe more time for the team to be coached by the same people or by better coaches, I don't know. I think they would be winning those games. Like they really should have won that game. So I'll leave it at that. They should have won that game and they didn't, which is, gives me hope, but also, we're watching. It's watchful waiting at this point.
Yep, we are waiting. That's right. And I don't know how long we'll be waiting, but we're waiting. So, that's about it. Merry Christmas. And yeah.
And a Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year. Hopefully a new year, new coaching. Yep. All right. See ya.